Hey, what's good with YouTube? This is your boy Rojo, Convicts Perspective, man. And before we get into today's video, I just want to say have a happy 4th of July and be safe, man. Don't blow yourself up with no fireworks. Don't get no DUIs. Enjoy the time with your family. Most of all, come home safe. We appreciate your guys' support. Just be safe out there, man. That's all. No reason for no bullshit.
What's good with the YouTube? Back at it, man, with Big Senor Rojo. Big Flaco from a convict's perspective. I'm smashing, dashing, sliding on through with a little bit of energy, man. And as you can tell by the title, man, we got an interesting topic, man. Rojo's going to reveal a little bit something about himself, man. And we're going to be using the word contribution. We're going to try to refrain from using the word tax, because that's how it used to be back in the days, man. I'm going to let Rojo go from there, and then we're going to talk about this a little bit.
So I'll tell you what, man, there's been some, speculation and debates on rappers and what they contribute, how they're taxed, etc. And, Woodie was a name that was brought up, man. And me and Woodie were all right. You know what I mean? I met him through Mousy from Daly City. And I actually met him because he came to me with a problem. The problem was, although he was contributing at the time, from his proceeds and the kindness of his heart, some individuals from Richmond, California, attempted to extort him, basically. He was already doing his thing. He was already sending money. Now, what I did is I made it a little more official, you know what I mean, and took him under the wing and basically put him on as a supporter of the regiment. You know what I mean? So I made sure he was all good and that wouldn't happen no more. Because there were some NR members out of Richmond, not NF, that were, trying to take advantage of the homie, and it was brought to my attention, and me and him developed a relationship, and I made sure he was taken care of. But he was happily contributing, not being forced to, not being punked, extorted, because of his success, man. And he was, under my direction, he was contributing at least $500 a month at the time. And that lasted probably 2.5 to 3 years until the early 2000s. At that point in time, I started having my issues, and I, slowly walked a different direction. So, there's no debate on, these particular years. I don't know the rest of the situation about how it progressed before his death and what was done or what was not done. But me and him always had a good relationship. One, because him and Mousy were real tight. And two, because, I saved him. There were them dudes from Richmond were going to whack him, if he didn't come up with, X amount of money a month. And it was an exorbitant amount of money, bro. You know what I mean? They were being extremely unreasonable, and they were just a couple dope fiends. You know what I mean? They're dope fiends trying to flaunt their status and whatever. And when I became involved, that ceased immediately. You know what I mean? And actually, one of them I had to put on a list for his mouth. You know what I mean? So come and give me that, bitch. That's what he told me. I was like, all right, homie, I got you, bro. I got you.
So I knew that he was working with you, I think, from 97 to like 2000, maybe barely into 2001, I believe.
Right. Yeah, that's about accurate.
And you kind of fell under the same thing that a lot of carnales did that were regiment commanders at that time. When the indictments hit, everybody hit the mattresses, laid low, cut off all channels. And this is what people don't realize about the whole situation, man. Like, sometimes directives are going to change out there and so forth. And when these guys got indicted in Oakland, right, they immediately told people to eliminate their existing channels that were up in the Bay. Immediately, anybody who was part of the regiment out there on the streets, they were immediately told that. They had to have visitors plug in with them at the time. It was a chaotic time, man. So I know you were one. I know Manuel Little Man Martinez was one. Powder was even in Comunicado for a minute.
Little Man from Salas?
Yeah. All these dudes were told to us to locate at that time. I had contact with Powder. He ended up plugging in with Smokey and all them later on. But you know, those were the type of directives because we were the ones out there. You know, we had people that were real close under Skip and Goose's wing, which was Prieto from 12th Street, Steve Gutierrez, rest in peace, and the other rapper out of San Jose. So they were going up visiting them, where a lot of other regiments were in contact with brass. So they were instructed us, giving us orders to come take care of these things, take care of this, get in contact with this cardinal. All we're doing is the footwork to get them in contact with them. So I know when I brought the thing about we were requested to locate, yeah, that was told to Black Steve Prieto. Our whole regiment knew about that. But that was not our priority. Sir Dino was a priority. Finding Huicho was a priority. Finding Caja, Lencho, all these other individuals were more of a priority out there than this. Yeah. So, you know, and it wasn't us being given the authority to like, okay, we're going to do this. No, they wanted us to locate them, get in contact, and plug them in with Rita or with Oakland at the time because they all wanted that piece of the pie. And everybody knows that this is what happened at that time is that all existing channels, I mean, that's why your situation was kind of interesting because you had that code. You didn't want to communicate no more. You did the right thing. They didn't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With you stepping aside, bro, you know, at that time, they were overstepping a lot of people out there in the streets that already had things going on, and they were able to tap into a whole lot of different resources, man. So, you know, the situation with Woody is you know, it's kind of interesting that the way you presented it because he's never said anything negative about the homeboys back then during that time era. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what happened to him afterwards. I've never said nothing bad about him. I only know what happened around from 97 to around 2000, 2001. I knew that when you were involved. I knew in 2001 what was given to our crew. And those directives change from day and night. Someone taps in that they want to give those new directives to, that's how it goes, man. So I don't know what happened thereafter. By the time I catch a violation, I step out in 2002, I get directed to a whole different regiment. It's no longer my business. You know what I mean? As soon as you get locked up, what happens out there is nobody's business. So it's kind of interesting, man. But I know those were the early stages of, you know, contacting rappers. Like Sir Dino, we didn't get at Sir Dino to basically have him, well, they did get him to contribute. But his situation was because he didn't show up to court. He got federal bail. They were worried about him telling. So we went to Modesto, Tracy. They finally located him in Oso. And they went to a restaurant in Tracy. And the homeboy made them both strip down like this in the bathroom. Let me see if you got a wire. He did the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just the cost of doing business. Got them in contact.
And real quick, too, man, just so you guys don't know, you know, you guys might not be familiar. Sir Dino is now Pastor David Rocha. Yeah. He has a channel. And I will say this about him. He did not cooperate in the Black Widow indictment. 0%.
No, so he did not.
He's still looked at as a solid dude. So make sure you afford him that respect.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of people have tried to sit there and say that he never told. You know what I respect about Dino was this, right? He was in an active pod and decided to embrace Jesus. He wasn't in no fucking war zone yard. He wasn't in no fucking get sent down south. He wasn't up, you know what I mean? He decided then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is acceptable. Anybody that chooses to accept the Lord and they really believe in it, walk that path the whole way. Don't just walk it when you're in there and then get out here and then start to forget who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Start to do fucking, you know what I mean? Start to do dope and all kinds of other shit. Walk it full force. And Pastor Rocha has. He didn't get sent down south, you know what I mean? He decided to pick up the Bible or get sent at any other location. So, you know, because a couple of people thought that we were taking shots at Cristianos. No, there's a lot of Cristianos that are solid and they will get off if need be.
100%.
Business. So I respect anybody that makes that choice when it's here. But when they make it because they're scared, I have a personal opinion on that.
Hey, when my directives from the Bay, like Woodie wasn't on their radar. You know what I mean? Yeah. The whole Northern Exposure, all that stuff, East Cocoa Records, whatever the hell it was, that was all relatively new and fairly localized still. You know what I mean? It was popping in Antioch, Pittsburgh, Concord. You know what I mean? It hadn't really hit like Sanjo and Salas and the Central Valley yet. So the only rappers who were on the radar And it wasn't even so much Mousy from 17 Reasons. It was Gold Toes as being the producer, being known out of Frisco, homeboys knowing him and whatnot, as well as Sir Dino, obviously. Like, they never told me anything about Sir Dino when I was there, but they were very interested in what Gold Toes had going on. You know, and that's because the amount of success and the amount of, you know, really, really popular artists that were collabing with him at the time. I mean, that 17 Reasons CD, no matter where you're from, like if you don't know nothing about gangs, that whole thing knocks, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know, there's no taking that away. That's one of Gold Toes' best projects ever. So that came across the radar, you know, and they wanted me to actively pursue telling him to jump on the train. You know what I mean? And yeah, Woody wasn't even really known yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, a year and a half, 2 years later, you know, after I got out of C12 back in the days, you know, he really started getting known, you know, throughout Northern and Central California. And, you know, that's when it became an issue. But he wouldn't even really have crossed my radar if it wasn't for a good friend of mine, Mousy, talking to me about a situation that developed for him where they were trying to, you know, you get them homeboys out there, they don't got no authority. They're nothing but junkies. You know, they achieved a certain level of status and they try to use it for their advantage. And that's not only has that got a lot of people deemed and killed, but it's got a lot of other people in a wreck too, because, oh, this dude's not going to pay. They don't know that, you know, that dude, if them dudes from Richmond would have been able to extort him, none of the people in the Bay or anybody who was deserving, you know, of the funds that were contributed would have ever seen a dollar. That would have went on heroin and bitches and casinos, and that never would have made its way back behind the walls or to a familiar bank.
See, we also had a known rapper that was plugged into our regiment that was visiting Goose at that time. You know what I'm saying? He was doing a lot of things too. Like there was supposed to be a concert gathering of the people, which was going to be all the rappers. And so it kind of also makes sense why they gave us those directives, because we're plugged in with them. Black Steve was plugged in with Lowdown, right? As well as Toxtedo was plugged in too as well from Madera. And then Tiny Lokes from Merced. So we had all these people that were plugged into us, you know what I'm saying, in the rap game at that time. So it makes sense that they would tell us to go find this dude as well. Because this is right when the article came out about Coach Records. You know what I mean? You know, that's just how it was. I mean, everybody's going to be given different directives and different things to take care of out there in the streets. And sometimes wires get crossed and people overstep boundaries too sometimes. You could have two C's up in the Bay, right? Or one in the Bay, one in Rita, give different directives and end up beating it like this at the head. It happens. I've seen it happen, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Michael, you know why a lot of things happen too is because, you know, people jump regiments all the time. People from Salinas talk business with people from Sacramento. That was strictly forbidden in my time. In my time, I ran the ship as I was told to run the ship, and I didn't reach out to Salinas. I didn't reach out to Modesto or wherever the hell. I didn't reach out to no fucking Lizard, bro. You know what I mean? I already knew what time it was with him, so I avoided him like he had, you know, viral fucking meningitis or something. But not knowing where other people have vested interests in, you know, like I wouldn't, because I paid attention to the fucking rules. One, for my safety, because I don't want people I don't know telling on me just because somebody's going down. But you might not necessarily always know what's going on if things are going right, you know. So you gotta, you know, if you plan on doing something, you got to get at your channel and let your channel figure it out. Like, because I guarantee you, a lot of people don't realize all these little rappers that you see on these videos, you know, and no offense to none of them, but the GBs, the Asitos, the fucking the Young Iggs, they're kicking in.
Yep, they are.
They're kicking in. They are kicking in, and they're probably kicking in way more than they need to be kicking in, because once people get their hooks in you, they're always going to want more. There's always going to be a reason to, hey, you know, this came up, man. I know you got, but can you know what I mean? And that's how it is. So this is like a little bit of advice for all you rappers out there that are Northerners or Southerners or whoever. When you make a deal, man, make that deal and make people stick with it, bro. They're going to respect you because you're going to be doing what you're doing. Don't allow yourself to be bullied. Don't talk back. Don't do none of that. But hey, I'm making a living for my family off this. I give you what we agreed upon on the beginning. You know, the most it should ever be is 25%. Ever. Just don't get taken advantage of, man, because them fools from them record companies, they're not seeing what they should see. So the way to avoid this, don't talk about gang shit, man. And then they can't go after you for extra. You start talking about some gang shit, you're going to be like, oh, well, you know, You know,
You know what though? You know what they've blown up right on a whole higher thing, right? They're making about give me 1 minute, babe. They're making about I'm recording. Oh, so they're making about shoot, they have the backpack boys now. That's what we're gonna touch base on that in a video.
they're doing good, man. Hey,
They're
congrats
doing
to
big
them.
things.
Yeah.
Cartel money, all these different groups, they're generating a lot of cash, bro, and they've opened up doors, bro. By using the homeboy symbolism, though.
Yeah.
So you can't deny that they have to contribute because they've used it to their advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they prospered. Hey, man, I lost my train of thought, man. I had another little piece of advice for these dudes, man, that, you know, people overlook a lot of times, man. And I totally lost my train of thought, man. Hopefully it'll come back to me. But go ahead, Flacco, my bad.
Well, now you had Brandon, Cartel Money, Big Tone, all these individuals have kind of been able to enter into the cannabis scene, bro. And they're doing it, bro. You know what I mean? And so where things are now, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to back then, I mean, shit, people were selling fucking CDs out the back of the car. They were selling these fucking Hanes Iron Dome fucking shirts and stuff like that, bro. They've really elevated. They have like shoe stores, all kinds of stuff now, man.
That is how it's supposed to be done. Right there, how they're doing it.
Nobody really has to do anything illegal.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
that was what I wanted to remind these guys of. Just remember, hey, there's going to be opportunities that come up. Hey, I got this, I got that, because people are going to ride your job because you're an entertainer. Hey, I got this at this price, I got that. Them feds are watching you just as they would NF members because of your influence, your public limelight, all that shit. Stick to what you're doing because you guys got it going on right now. You're on the foothold of success, man.
Don't try to get into anything bigger because you know what?
Stay in your lane.
Even if you talk about it, they're going to hit you with that conspiracy RICO act, man, because you're doing something that they don't want you to do.
Yep.
So stay on that straight and narrow, man.
100%. Yeah, I applaud them dudes, man. I see them making all kinds of moves. You know, and I know they don't give a fuck about what I got to say, but you know, at least listen to my experience, man. You're on the right path. This is how it's supposed to be done. You guys are doing it. Continue to do it. Don't let nobody take advantage of you, though. Do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Because you have to. But don't give away your whole fame and fortune, bro. That's all. But anyway, yeah, man. As far as Woodie goes, man, Woodie was contributing for multiple years. Never had a problem with him. He was a cool dude. I met him through Mousy at a barbecue, and we exchanged numbers, and we used to talk almost every other day, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was doing his thing like he was supposed to. There was never no, oh man, he's not answering the phone. There was never none of that, bro. He was a solid dude, bro. He had a little bit of problems, you know what I mean? But who doesn't? You know what I'm saying?
Everybody does, man.
Yeah, he had a little bit of problems, you know what I mean? But as far as being a righteous homie who did what was asked of him in my time, dead on. I never had to look for him. I never had to call him. If I called him, he didn't answer. He called me within 20 minutes or so. Done deal. So yeah, I got nothing bad to say about Wood, man. I didn't know him the best. You know what I mean? I was, you know, at the time that I was hanging out with him and getting to know him, I was really, really, really busy doing, you know, not only did I have a 9-to-5 job, but I was running, you know, the whole East Bay and North Bay, you know, so I didn't have a lot of individual time for, you know, any specific people in general. You know what I mean? But he was cool, bro. He made great music. He was chill. You know, if I asked him to do something, it got done immediately. And that's all I got to say about Wood.
Sounds good, man. I don't really have much to add. I never met the dude personally. I mean, I really, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was usually other rappers we were more plugged into at that time, man.
Yeah, they used to want me to jump on their videos and shit. Like, bro, I can't do it. You know, it'd have been cool. Don't get me wrong. I was a young man. It was hard not to because I wanted to. You know what I mean? I'm 20-something. You know what I'm saying? But you know you know, back then we were a little more discreet. Nowadays, you see dudes with the whole fucking bandera videos, hella fat.
That dude, he needs to do some burpees, bro. Shit.
That dude showing off the whole thing.
That's a fucking.
What did he do? Why?
That's a fucking shame, bro. I mean, no disrespect, but come on, man, you can't be looking like that.
You can't be showing that tattoo either, bro. This is bringing attention to every person that was just there with you.
Yeah. Anyways, I got a little commotion over here, so I got to see what's going on, man. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I'll be live later, y'all, too. Hope you guys have a good one, man.
We're out of here, man. Appreciate you guys. Happy 4th. I'll be on you guys later.
Bye.